Not long after Ji-hun's failure, the third season of Squid Game begins with its premiere episode. The final tally was 35 casualties, with 60 players remaining. Also murdered were 12 pink guards and 8 supervisors. Because the games and the frontman are so dramatic, the pink guards bring player 456 coffin back to the burial area. He begs them to kill him too since he is so distraught. Obviously, he doesn't receive a response, and he is confined to his hands when he's not participating in the activities. According to what the other players told him, Daeho, our player 388, had the weapons but was too afraid to return to assist the other revolting players. Though completely insane at first, this piques Ji-hun's interest, and he transforms into a seriously dangerous individual. He frightens Daeho just by staring at him. Lee Jung-jae's acting chops were on full display in this episode. He had to convey every emotion, including fury, just through his expressions. He was absolutely superb at it. The following activity, a variation of hide-and-seek, is about to begin. I felt compelled to add one more remark about how awful this show is. The bodies of the rebels are left hanging so that the remaining players can see them as they make their way to the arena. You can't expect a typical game of hide-and-seek here. In the preview, we see that players select a color as they approach the gumball machine. The color signifies the team they're representing, red or blue. While the blue squad takes cover, the red team must seek them out. Within the next 30 minutes, they must locate and eliminate one blue player. In order to conceal and locate the escape, the blue players are given keys to open doors. Knives are given to the red players. This is the reasoning behind the episode's title, Keys and Knives. We will eliminate that red team member if they are unable to eliminate even one. The term "at least" is also crucial. More can be eliminated by them. Also, the red team is unable to engage in mutual attacks. Anyone can switch teams before the game begins if they so desire. Despite his best efforts, Daeho is unable to find somebody to swap places with him and instead draws blue. The fact that Ji-hun, who is clearly interested in him, draws red further adds to his problems. Their defeat was caused by player 388. The scene where Jong-dae, the elderly man, a player 100, attempted to swap teams by approaching player for 56 was rather amusing. His appearance was amusing to me. And the audacity of that elderly man. The thought of player 124 enlisting player 333's help is terrifying to me. Something terrible seems like it might happen as a result of this. Myung Ji did tell Junhee to stay hidden and that he would locate her after everything had passed. Wait and watch to see if he follows through. No one should look up to Namju, but particularly someone with Myung Ji's many moral issues. With an irate expression on his face, Ji-hun holds the knife and says, "It's your fault" at the end of the episode. The red team must now attack the other teams. Player 456 needs to be cautious because his target is obvious. There are other plots unfolding, but we'll begin with No-yul, the pink guard. There is still hope for Gyeong-suk, player 246. As we seen in Season 2 of Squid Game, No-yul was very careful to aim his shot at a spot where he wouldn't die. She pretends to be helping him by acting as if he is dead before using the scanner to murder him. Even though the organ trafficking rings cards trust her, she betrays them. The only one she can't kill is the doctor, whom she orders to treat player 246. No problem at all, lady. Gyeong-suk is able to use her blood since it is type O. Captain Park is actually an agent of the frontman, according to Detective Hwang Junho and Mr. Choi. The news of the drone operator's death reaches his employer through his phone. A second one is being sought after so that they may continue searching for the island that hosts the games. He is advised by the frontman to persist in his efforts to dissuade them. Kill everyone if he fails. Everyone, even the police captain. The detective is unwilling to acknowledge that Mr. Choi is beginning to question Captain Park's veracity. After restocking on pilots, the crew takes to the skies once more. However, Mr. Choi is staying behind this time to investigate. The second episode of Squid Game Season 3, titled The Starry Night, focuses on a brutal hide-and-seek game where players are divided into blue and red teams, with the red team armed with knives. The episode features multiple shocking deaths of major characters, including Hyunju, who sacrifices herself for her friends, and Yongsik, who is killed by the guards after his mother tries to save him. The production design is, as usual, immaculate, with a claustrophobic and surreal arena featuring a maze-like structure and an MC Escher-inspired well. The blue team must find keys to escape, adding a layer of complexity and forcing them to work together, creating tension and high stakes. Song Ji-hun, a character who was expected to rise above the fray, gives in to his baser instincts and kills Daeho in a brutal fight. The episode explores themes of morality and survival, as characters are forced to make impossible choices in a high-stakes environment. The episode also includes the death of Seon Na-yo, the shaman, and a subplot involving No-yul's actions to protect Ga-young-suk. The recap focuses on Season 2, Episode 3 of Squid Game, titled It's Not Your Fault, highlighting the emotional intensity and brutal games. The episode features a vote where players must decide whether to leave the game with a large sum of money, with Jim Jae becoming the voice of reason and empathy. Jim Jae's plea to the players to vote to leave, especially for Junhee and her baby, is a central emotional moment, showcasing her self-sacrificing nature. Ji-hun, still reeling from the previous game, is helped by Jim Jae to remember why he's in the game, leading to a promise to help Junhee and her baby. Jim Jae's suicide shocks the players, and her performance is praised, while Ji-hun is spurred to action, ready to help Junhee and her baby. The episode introduces the jump rope game, a cruel and simple challenge that tests the players, with Minitsu's cruel actions leading to Samju's demise. The episode ends on a cliffhanger, with Ji-hun helping Junhee and her baby, and the next player pushing another into the pit, leaving the audience eager for the next episode. Since the games are essentially for the VIPs, they play a significant role in these presentations. They have a crucial metaphorical purpose, but their cartoonish appearance is distracting. Their English is unnaturally stiff and stilted, yet they all speak it. The two beautiful, sincere, and devastating monologues delivered by Kang Ae-sim in a single episode were light years ahead of the gruff and uncomfortable performances given by the VIPs. Perhaps the director failed to capture something important, or perhaps the VIPs simply felt foolish in their gilded eyes, wide-shut masks and black tie attire while they watched the sports. Some intuition told me something wasn't right. The rebel guard No-yul is preparing to depart the island with Ga-young-suk, whose life she saved in the last episode. I urge everyone who wishes to depart from this domain to read No-yul, despite its seriousness and difficulty. She claims she may make things difficult for her boss now that the VIPs are here, so she implores, threatens, and begs him to let her and Ga-young-suk escape on a boat. Last but not least, we revisit Junho's quest to find the island hosting the Squid Games. After a fruitless search, he finally locates the site where the frontman shot him from a precipice at the end of the first season. The island must be close by. Captain Park is attempting to divert Junho away from the island while still serving the front man. He is being pursued by Choi Woo-suk on the mainland. Woo-suk breaks into Captain Park's dilapidated shack, where he encounters a vicious dog and what appears to be a silent alarm. Immediately thereafter, the cops arrive. The Squid Games are somehow linked to Captain Park, as Woo-suk discovers before they accept him. Titled 222, features a brutal jump rope game that mirrors the Glass Bridge Challenge from Season 1, with players facing deadly consequences for timing errors. The episode highlights the increasing cruelty among the players, with some resorting to pushing others to their deaths to survive, showcasing the show's exploration of human nature under pressure. The episode sees the death of Junhee, one of the last remaining characters worth rooting for, adding a layer of bleakness to the narrative and emphasizing the show's dim view of human nature. Ji-hun's moral compass is tested as he confronts the front man, who offers him a deal to eliminate the remaining players, save the baby, and win the prize money, forcing him to make a difficult choice. The front man's actions and motivations are explored, revealing a potential sense of shame and a desire to corrupt Ji-hun, further complicating the moral landscape of the game. Subplots involving Junho's investigation and No-yul's internal conflict add depth to the episode, hinting at potential alliances and betrayals that could impact the outcome of the games. The VIP's portrayal continues to be a weak point, with unconvincing acting and awkward dialogue, detracting from the show's overall message, while the episode sets the stage for the final game with a shocking twist. The episode continues the show's descent into moral relativism with another deadly game. Ji-hun receives a dagger and a suggestion from the frontman to kill the other players, but his inherent decency prevents him from doing so. Flashbacks reveal the frontman was once a Squid Game winner who accepted a similar offer from Illinois Nam. The frontman witnesses Ji-hun's different choice, realizing not everyone is as morally corrupt as he is. Rebel guard No-yul confronts the foreman to erase Gyeong-suk's records, leading to a tense fight. No-yul ultimately defeats the foreman in a satisfying turnaround. The episode focuses on the final Squid Game, where remaining players must push someone to their death from towers shaped like a square, triangle, and circle to proceed, with survivors splitting the prize. The games highlight the participants' willingness to betray each other for survival, mirroring the VIP's desire to justify their own behavior. The episode quickly develops the personalities of the final players, including the cruel 203, the scared 039, and the pragmatic 353 and 336. The group turns on the vulnerable Minitsu, and Myung-ji, the baby's father, initially seems hesitant to protect his child. Myung-ji ultimately protects the baby but reveals a ruthless side, eliminating player 100 to increase the prize money. Ji-hun passes away in the very last round of the game. Along with Myung-ji and the baby, he reaches the final tower. Even though Myung-ji begs Ji-hun to give him the baby, Ji-hun refuses because he fears Myung-ji will murder his own child. In the ensuing conflict, Myung-ji meets his demise. There was no sacrifice for this tower in Myung-ji's death because neither man pushed the button that started the round. Ji-hun must make the terrible decision of killing the baby and living or dying so the baby can survive. His choice of the latter surprises the VIPs. He held the baby and glared them down, even though they thought he was going to kill the baby. Even though he can't see them, he knows they're in their viewing room, watching with disinterest. Once he does that, he stops looking at them. His following words are directed towards us, not at them. He lays the baby down on the floor and loves her. He turns to face the camera and utters, "We are not horses. In the end, we're just human." Then, player for 56, the player representing the game's intended audience, dies. By sacrificing himself for the baby, Ji-hun is making a humane choice. No matter how frail a person may be, in his view, they are all precious and deserving of protection. Even if it means his own death, he refuses to observe the rules set down for the VIPs. After trying to persuade Ji-hun for the past 2 seasons that saving lives isn't worth it, the frontman is very disturbed by Ji-hun's decision. Player for 56, do you still believe in people? He asks Ji-hun in episode 4, after he reveals his identity. As soon as Ji-hun chooses his last choice, In-ho receives his reaction. Arriving on the island shortly after Ji-hun sacrifices himself is the Korean Coast Guard. After rescuing player 246 from the pink soldiers pursuing him, Jun-ho sent them there. The island's location was revealed to him. Upon learning that the Coast Guard has arrived, In-ho gives the order to depart the island. A 30-minute countdown to the facility's explosion is subsequently initiated by him. He needs to destroy the evidence. As expected, the powerful get away. Meanwhile, with the skyscraper in his sights, Jun-ho searches for his brother. In round 6, he enters the VIP watchroom at the same moment as In-ho reaches the top of one of the towers to retrieve the baby, whose real name is player 222, he also happens to be the game winner. Jun-ho opens fire on the glass barrier separating the VIP observation deck from the playing field. This catches In-ho's eye. Jun-ho aims the rifle toward his sibling, but he is unable to fire. In-ho is expecting a child. Unlike In-ho, Jun-ho probably has no intention of killing his brother. Why, he instead shouts. "Why did you do it?" Without saying a word, In-ho simply turns aside and departs. The child of Jun-hee and the game's rewards are waiting for Jun-ho when he returns home 6 months later. Probably In-ho left them. Even if In-ho doesn't want to, he clearly wants his brother to be happy. Since he handed it to Jun-ho, it appears that he too wants the baby to live a good life. At the show's conclusion, the frontman is seen in a car, having delivered Ji-hun's earnings to his daughter. He rolls down his window to investigate the sounds of slapping and dark G emanating from a nearby alley. Recruiter is the character played by Cate Blanchett. She returns her attention to her task after giving the frontman a quick glance and acknowledging him. Despite the lack of confirmation, the scenario implies that the game will be played in the US. The fact that people from all over the globe participate in the game was revealed in Season 1. In October 2024, Deadline was informed by sources close to the production that David Fincher will be helming an English-language adaptation of Squid Game. It is possible that the opening scene of Squid Game, America, is the same as the one that ends Season 3.